Hey, everybody. This is the Mega Bull Crypto Decoder, and this is going to be part two of our crypto series on HBAR. And so I'm going to finish up by going through the network and the use cases. This is where it gets interesting. So, the Hedera token service, you can configure, mint, and manage native, fungible, and non fungible tokens on the Hedera network without needing to deploy a smart contract. Okay. So I just want to say that I'm treating this as if you and I are learning together. So you got to put in the work, you got to do your research, but this should incentivize you and help you with where to go looking for things. So let's play this clip real quick.
Imagine a future where the entire global economy is tokenized. A future where markets are fair and accessible to all. A future where any asset can be tokenized and exchanged anywhere in the world in seconds for a fraction of a penny. This future is being built on Hedera today. Hello, Tokenization.
So there you have it. Okay, and it's very cheap. It transacts really quickly, like we've looked at in the last episode in part one, and it's very comparable to XRP in terms of fees, transaction fees, and how fast it is in order to get a transaction across. There we see native tokenization without a smart contract. So public and private blockchains offering tokenization carry the burden of expensive fees or upfront infrastructure costs, slow transaction speeds, complexity in managing governance, and regulatory obstacles. The Hedera token service enables the configuration, management, and transfer of native, fungible, and NFTs on the public Hedera network. Okay, so NFTs on the Hedera network is actually a big deal. Hedera token service offers high throughput native compliance configurations and on-chain programmability, such as atomic swaps without having to deploy expensive and potentially faulty smart contracts. So Hashgraph is I believe, the consensus that HBAR is running on, and it's very different. Okay, and one thing you gotta notice is these tokens that are having, their stress testing and they have the years of trial and use. Those are the ones that are going to be chosen. Do you think that governments or, big corporations are going to want to use something that's brand new that hasn't been tested and trialed? No, they want something proven and true. And things like XLM, XRP, HBAR, Alliance Block, the XDC, so forth and so on, all these things, they're all integrated too. So that's what's the crazy part. All these tokens are integrated. Ocean Protocol, Energy Web, they're all integrated. So here we see payments. The Hedera token service offers an opportunity to embrace the disruption of public DLTs for payments in a secure, compliant, and performant manner. Enable secure, real-time, and cost-effective payments in your own stablecoin or cryptocurrency. Financial services, tokenized assets change the way ownership and value exchange is defined. And the Hedera token service enables the minting, management, and transfer of fungible and non-fungible assets that are representative of physical or digital goods. So the tokenization of things is coming. And you got to see which tokens allow for that, right? And are compliant. Supply chain, verify the authenticity of digital or physical items and track products throughout a supply chain. NFTs are configured, issued, and managed using the Hedera token service. So I know you guys are seeing all these like funny pictures and people say, oh, you can just screenshot it. Well, that's like I got to be careful with saying it's not the meme way of using the NFTs, because it's not a meme. But what's going to happen in the future is that you'll be able to configure, issue, and manage those NFTs using the Hedera token service without the need for smart contracts. So you'll be able to verify how authentic that digital NFT is, especially if it's in representation of a physical item, right? And that's why NFTs are huge. And that's why the fact that Hedera is allowing for an ecosystem for NFTs to be used, configured, issued, and managed on the Hedera token service without the need for smart contracts is monstrous. Okay, energy and sustainability. Okay, that it's very efficient. Renewable energy credit. Look, service enables cost reductions and greater efficiencies for renewable energy credit. Marketplace and platforms enabling companies to meet their sustainability goals. So that's a huge part of it. Here it shows all its other affiliates, and here it says why tokenize with Hedera. It's programmable, right? Native tokens, no need for slow, expensive, and potentially faulty smart contracts. So essentially, you don't want to have Bitcoin or ETH because they're slow. Bitcoin doesn't really have or can't have smart contracts on it. ETH has smart contracts, but the fees are expensive, right? So low predictable fees, that's where that comes in. Configurable compliance, key and token configurations, and KYC is going to be huge in the future. Enterprise governance and security audit. So folks, you got to look for tokens that are going to be compliant and that are tried and true. So that's the token service. Now, when you look at the consensus service, you have consensus for any application, okay? And this is a verifiable timestamping and ordering of events for any application or permissioned blockchain framework. And you can look at this. It says, enterprises and industry consortia building applications using industry standard development environments or permissioned blockchain and DLT frameworks such as Hyperledger Fabric or R3 Corda gain the benefits of privacy, low cost, and flexibility of development. But when used standalone, these applications and their associated networks remain siloed from one another, require complex and centralized configuration to achieve transaction ordering, and lack the fundamental element of public trust that is central to Web 3.0. So here the Hedera consensus service will act as the trust layer for any application or permission network. And this will allow for the creation of an immutable and verifiable log of messages. So if you haven't noticed yet, they are creating an expansive network and ecosystem that is literally going to take over the tokenization of all things, right? And you have privacy. Trust means privacy, right? Enterprise grade network. The fees are super low. There's flexibility in the development. A trusted real-time audible log, which is huge, right? So you're seeing all these things, and you look at the partnerships, and the fact that the military is using them is huge. They're also Hala Systems, right, is using Hedera, and that is usually in some way, shape, or form. I think Hala. I was just watching a video in which they have, I believe, some kind of sensors on the ground, and they can go ahead and sense things and send out alarms that will ring across the city and alert the citizens of like an airstrike. Now, whether you think that's okay or not, I mean, it's for your discretion, but it seems like they will be working with the military. And so, anywho, you could go ahead and look at that in closer detail. Okay? So, interconnecting permission networks and consortia. All right? And here we see the step-by-step with Hedera Consensus Service, right? You create the topic, you send it, you process, and you audit. And Consensus Service API features, here they are. And okay, now how it works. I'll play this video so you can learn how the Hashgraph and Hedera network services work together to create an entirely new class of applications.
Hedera Hashgraph is a public distributed ledger that maintains the highest standards of performance, fairness, and security for decentralized applications at internet scale. Hashgraph is the underlying consensus algorithm that achieves high performance and absolute finality. So how does Hashgraph actually work? Suppose we want to create a type of auction that, unlike traditional auctions, is able to operate without a central authority controlling and managing a ledger of transactions. Instead, we want all participating parties to publicly maintain a distributed ledger on their computers, which we call nodes. We need a way to ensure that every node can reach consensus on the current state of the ledger and the exact order of incoming transactions. We also need a way to ensure that bad actors cannot inappropriately manipulate the system. Within the Hashgraph framework, the nodes share information with one another via a gossip protocol, such that news of new transactions spreads through the community quickly and with resilience to any small number of nodes being offline. To share transactions with the community, a data structure containing a payload of those transactions, a timestamp, a digital signature, and two hashes pointing to earlier gossip structures is created. The sharing of this information is a concept unique to Hashgraph called gossip about gossip. The nodes are not just sharing what, they're also sharing who and when. This trail of information means each node knows what another node knows, when they found out about it, and who they found out about it from. This allows the nodes to locally engage in a virtual voting protocol unique to Hashgraph. Without communicating with one another and consuming bandwidth, mathematically rigorous voting algorithms are used by each node to agree on the order of transactions, and so how to apply them to change the state. In order to achieve a decentralized market, we need the ability to order ultra-high transaction volumes in real time. Only Hashgraph can guarantee performance, security, and fairness for these.
Okay, so there you have it. Hashgraph is huge, the consensus algorithm, right? And it's unique to Hedera. And so that's how it would work. And that pretty much explains everything, right? That's everything in a nutshell of what these words are saying. So you can go ahead, if you want to dig in a little deeper, go ahead and do that. Now, we have the use cases. Okay, let's see if we could get through it. Payments, it's going to be huge. This is going to be like a quick overview. But we know that it's a fraction of a cost, right? It says by 2023, digital transaction values could reach 6.7 trillion globally. That's a lot. Public distributed ledgers that enable the issuance of stablecoins and other cryptos for payment use cases reduce costs associated with payment processors and payment point-of-sale systems. And if you can have real-time settlement, you can have low and predictable fees, you can be regulatory compliant, right? If you maintain the sustainability goals, that's what's going to survive. So finding utility and value in these tokens is huge, right? Yeah, if you're trying to make a quick buck, then this may not be the game for you, because this is the long-term play, and that's where the majority of the money lies. If you would have invested in Terra Luna, for example, and you're patient, waited 2 years, it has gone exponential. It was over $100, and it started at a couple cents. That's what waiting for 2 years will do. But you have to make sure you do your research and your due diligence. Okay, CBDC. CBDCs are regulated by a country's monetary authority and typically deployed on permission blockchain frameworks, utilizing the Hedera consensus service in combination to preserve privacy while enabling transparency and trust for national and international payments. So you can expect the Hedera consensus service to be utilized, and so forth and so on. Now that's payments. Now when you look at tokenized assets, I already went over that, right? For NFTs, if you want to trace that, if you want to verify the authenticity, you can do it using the Hedera network. And it goes over the same thing: strong and stable governance, low fees. And low fees is going to be huge. Energy and sustainability, supply chain, right? You can verify products through a supply chain. NFTs are going to be huge for that. You have tokenized securities, you have payments, etc. Now, you go to fraud mitigation. When you can verify something, right, through the Hedera consensus network or algorithm, then so for example, augmenting fraud mitigation with Hedera, you can today, applications are controlled by centralized authorities with back-end infrastructure that's susceptible to infiltration. But here, you have users, auditors, administrators, and more. It's near impossible to ensure that everyone can be both trusted and have the access to the same information in real time. The Hedera will enable high throughput verifiable logging of business transactions as well as decentralized identifiers that adhere to the Web3 consortium. And that's what it's all about. And you guys can keep on reading here where it's tamper proof. There's verifiable timestamps, there's real-time analysis, identity standards, enterprise-grade security, and it's auditable. Okay, now when we look at identity, it's the same thing. Data compliance, right? So you have to be compliant, whether that be KYC, AML, and you have to be a permissioned blockchain, where you have a private ledger with public trust. These are huge. Now, if you don't know, there's the case studies, right? See, this will tell you who's building on the network. You can enterprise, you can see who, or you can use and transform your business by using Hedera and healthcare. So healthcare is huge. We see that a lot of companies, here, let me go down here, right? CNBC, they're using blockchain to track the temperature of, so forth and so on. We have Arizona State using it for their management strategy and data update. We have Morningstar. We have all these things using it to track whatever use case they want. And also we have gaming, which is exploding. And Hedera is allowing for that ecosystem to flourish. We see online gaming has taken the world by storm, selling out physical arenas globally for tournament-style esports. And it attracts millions of viewers. And they're building fairness into the games. You guys can go ahead and read into that. There's digital asset ownership, right? You have rankings and scoreboard, high-stakes environments, virtual currencies. So Hedera's building and creating. If you haven't been paying attention, let me just sum it up and say Hedera is building a huge ecosystem where you can use it for currency, for verifying either digital or physical assets that are digitally identified, payments, tokenized assets, right? Identity, everything, gaming, healthcare, everything is being built on this. So if you haven't looked into HBAR, I highly recommend you do, because what they're building is ginormous. It's monstrous. So this is the Mega Bull Crypto Decoder, and I hope you get on HBAR because it's a monster. Have a good one.